I am about to tell you an amazing story, not of the realm of ancient kings, but a story of the future to come. Love of Dungeon. Prologue. So did it end. And so it began. The last days when the modern world fell, ensuring the completion of a prophecy long held by mankind. The many decades mankind had to come together to avoid the travesty. The greed of the kings of old to turn a blind eye to the needs of man. The rock and the hard place becoming one. The years when a deadly flu created a tear in the eyes of the world were only the beginning. The social structure of North America, Europe, and Australia went into chaos. With the breakdown of society, the abyss created a vast array of problems. The kings of old and those who worked behind the scenes all saw a chance for them to gain power and become the conquerors of the world of men. Their pettiness and greed caused a stranglehold on the people. People were imprisoned unjustly, curable disease ran among the common people, and several were killed for spite. A quarter of the world's population died in those 6 years. In the 250th year of the United States, the people rose up against each other, and over half the world followed suit. The rebellion came swiftly, and with fervent cause, as if riding a red horse geared for battle. The chaos of the world plunged further into darkness, as governments fell, tyrants rose, and the world ran red with blood. War covered the earth. The battles leveled cities, destroyed factories, and scorched the soil needed for farming. Technology and advanced weapons were depleted and gave way to the times of the ancient kings. Another quarter of the original population died. Half of mankind was now gone in a pair of preventable tragedies. The destruction left behind would not affect the dead, but those who were victorious. With only limited amounts of technology left and few people who could recreate it, the world turned to a desolate place. The remaining people, led by tyrants, began to starve as the food shortages left people suffering of their next meal's timing. Famine ruled the earth, deciding who to feed by the weight of their gold and their ability to do harm. The kings of old were gone and left the lords of the realm to indulge, while the peasants were as zombies living on the lord's scraps. Technology became totally lost. People in these villages were too weak to rebel. Many perished with the memory of fast food and throwing away half their dinner plate in days past. This was numbered in the billions, as another quarter of the world went to waste. Feeding death, these sheer numbers could only do one thing: open the doors to his domain. The world itself shook as the doorway opened. A large gaping chasm in the ground with a structure running deep within the earth. Death flowed forth from the chasm. Creatures of myth and legend were unleashed upon the world. As the world reeled from fighting death's minions, 3 large cities were created as refuges. Although not all sought refuge, most flocked to help create these cities. In Asia, the City of the Sun was formed. In Israel, Jerusalem was built once more. In the United States, Zion was created not far from the chasm. They welcomed any man who came, but it is never that simple for mankind. As the creatures hunted man, the world fought back. Many of the people left were lost. Lost, not dead. For with death upon the earth, the people's spirits had nowhere to go. This led the people to discover the second entity unleashed from the chasm. The monsters of the deep spilt forth, and so did magic. 3 forms of magic changed the world. Divine, given by God to aid and heal his people. It allowed people to be healed and resurrected when slain. Nature, used to keep the fight alive. Generating food and using the elements to hold back the blight. Evil, used to support the monsters of hell and man's dark side. Resurrecting those who fell on both sides, while turning them into dark creatures and corrupted souls. Using magic in the world not only changed the world, it changed the people. Magic permeated into everything. People changed into races of tall tales. Thus all of the races were reborn. Elf, dwarf, and gnome were recreated. Some unfortunate people remained as ordinary humans. These extra abilities have given people the power to survive. The power to fight back. This is how the world of old kings ended. This is how our world and the war on death itself began. As the brave enter the dungeon to fight death's icy grip, this is how we learned a love of dungeon. As told by Pandisa, elven sorceress.